Mendoza, too, as we should. The #1 overall pick, Fernando, sharp in his preseason debut. He completed 10 of 16 passes for 97 yards and a touchdown during 4 drives. Mendoza spoke after his preseason debut about Raiders minority owner Tom Brady addressing the team the night before that first preseason game. Here's what he said.
Mr. Brady was able to talk to our team last night, and he said, like, no matter how good of a high school or college player you were, the NFL is a different level. And I felt that tonight, and I have a lot to grow from.
I love how he calls him Mr. Brady.
Always probably will.
I know. Okay, you've had a chance to dive into the film of Mendoza's first NFL action. I'm really excited to see this. What did you like from him in his Raiders debut?
Yeah, they attacked, and Fernando attacked some of the stuff. The main thing he did not do in college, which is that under center stuff. So this is early in that game that he's going to obviously start from under center. This concept, the single receiver is going to run what we call a locked stop route. Ball snapped at the 21-yard line. Locked means he's not reading the coverage, okay? The route is the route. He wants to get to about 16 to 18 yards and split really between the numbers and the hash. That's the location of that route. And when you do that, timing's everything. So underneath the center, he sends that motion. Didn't do this in college. Step #1, when you get the snap, do you belly the ball? What I mean by belly the ball is you want the ball right onto your belly button because these linemen, they could swing hands at some point. That's really good. #2, when you go with that fake, I need you to not only show the ball, but then I want you to lean down. You're going to see Fernando show that ball, then lean down because that's what the handoff is going to look like in real life. So there's that lean. That's perfect. Now, that's locked stop is designated 16 to 18 yards. That means Fernando has to get the ball out right now at the top of his drop. So you can see Fernando, great throwing position. That's well done. Pulling the trigger, and that receiver's just starting to drop his hips at that 16 to 18 yard location. Told everybody it should be caught around the 37 to 38 yard line. It is caught in between those defenders at the 37 to 38 yard line. We just didn't see, and I did not see a lot of that at Indiana. That's well done. Now we'll go to another under center. This time, no play action drop back, sends the motion. Now, when he goes underneath, it's going to be a 5-step drop, no fake. He's going to look up top to be the #1 receiver or #1 read in this progression, which is going to be an out route. First thing I love, once again, outstanding throwing position. You can tell he's worked at it. He wants to throw this out route. It's not there. That's the #1 part of the read. So when he's looking to that #1 part of the read, he's going to pull this linebacker there. Does he like to throw? No. So when he resets, he's got to see where this linebacker is. He does, realizing because he was looking up top, he's pulling him there. And here comes #2 of the progression. Remember, I told everybody, that's #1. It's not there. This is #2. So this has got to do a really nice job of peeking up top, reset, and that ball's coming out. What's great is that linebacker's driving there at the same time as Fernando's resetting to throw the in route right behind him, and then the ball is on time and on the right place. So those 2 clips, for a young man that really didn't do that stuff in Indiana, and candidly, that was a concern of mine coming out of school, to be shown it that quickly and executing at a high level this early on, that's well done.
Good on you, by the way, just giving him some props. By the way, how's my belly the ball?
You got belly the ball.
Right here.
You never know when a guard is going to get hit by defensive tackle, and then you're going to get blamed. They're not going to blame the guard.
I normally do.
Belly the pad. Belly the iPad.
Okay, belly in the pad. All right, we got a lot of preseason action still. Week 2 of the NFL preseason, thank you for that demo, Dan, continues this week. Some that you don't want to miss. Thursday and Friday on NFL Network. The Raiders taking on the Texans Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. That's our Monday Night Football preseason game. Watch NFL preseason games on NFL Network now, also streaming on the ESPN app. And we will see you from Houston on ESPN Thursday. Let's get to some quick reads. What stood out to us in week 1 of the preseason? Dan, kick us off. You're talking about Dejon Stribling.
Oh, Stribling.
He really made an impact on you.
I think he's really going to become the go-to wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers. 1, seems really smart with the different ways that they're aligning him. 2, his ability to be strong when the ball is in the air. I've said this a little bit. There's a lot of Puka Nacua element in there where when the ball was there, he would just go attack the football. I think Stribling's going to sniff 80 catches, 1,000 yards in San Francisco.
Wow, they need that, right? I was really impressed by Drew Aller. 3 touchdowns, a passer rating of 154.8. Saw some of his mobility on display too, right? And I realized, okay, it was against the Packers' third-team defense, but he was accurate. You could immediately see improved footwork even from his time in college. The athleticism was on display at times too. I enjoyed watching him. Going to be interesting to see how they use him going forward, Mina.
So my preseason observation isn't a player, but a trend I want to talk about, which is these quarterbacks under center at a high rate, 45% of the time in week 1. That compares to an NFL average of 35% last season, which is a monumental number, especially, by the way, if you narrow it down to the first quarter, it's even more with the starters. So I think there's a few things that have played into this. One is play callers clearly prioritizing, want to put these young quarterbacks under center. Dan talked about it with Mendoza. But college football is a gun game now, and a lot of these quarterbacks don't have a ton of experience under center. Clearly that was a priority. Ty Simpson, Aller, Nussmeier, all of them you saw under center. Another thing is just a lot of the coaching hires around the league. Many of the new offensive coordinators are coming from the Shanahan tree. So you have an offense like Philadelphia, even though Jalen Hurts isn't out there, they still want to rep more under center for everyone because we're going to see a lot more of it this year. Washington as well, as an example. And then some existing play callers, offenses making a philosophical change. Cincinnati is one Dan and I were talking about while we were watching week 1. I mean, last season, Joe Burrow was under center at like the second lowest rate in football, 19% of the time. In the drives he played in the preseason, over 50% of the snaps when he was on the field, he was under center. So clearly, Cincinnati is trying to rep this in live action because they plan on changing their ways during the regular season. And I think this is only the beginning of something I expect we're going to continue seeing all preseason long.
Yeah, preseason and then into the regular season, right? To Mina's point. Dan, you like this trend we're starting to see here?
I feel like NFL Live started the trend like 4 years ago.
Oh, my
it's
goodness.
Just taking some teams, because of their style of play, time to catch on. I think we've talked about this for a couple seasons now of the whys, and I think we're starting to see more teams and organizations make it a little bit more of a focal point. And I think even more so, 2 reasons why are, one, if defenses are really going to live in this, we're going to force you to be efficient shell of a defense. I think the only way you can be explosive on offense is play action pass. That's the only way. You're not going to be explosive in the play action pass game from the gun as nearly as effective as you are from underneath the center. So there's just like the cat and mouse of cause and effect. And then I think there was an era, probably about 10 years ago, when I think teams and organizations became a little bit overly comfortable with exposing their quarterbacks to all these different kinds of hits. The mobile quarterback became a much bigger part of the NFL, and it was quarterback run, and it's, well, what about protecting them? It's like, we're taking hits. I think the NFL is going back to being like, no. We don't want our quarterbacks touched at all anymore, and unless we have to in some situational football. And I think the more that you put the guy underneath center, the more you could bring people into the protection that might be able to be full-time or even help early on to get the play started. And I think that's going to be a staple for the NFL this year.
Burrow's a really interesting case study in what you just described, right? Because they were under center a lot his rookie season. He got killed. It almost felt like he wanted to be in the gun for a litany of reasons, one of which was he felt, I can get this ball out quick, I can read out the defense, get it in the hands of my playmakers. And it was incredibly, it's still effective, but it's no longer explosive, to your point. Exactly. I mean, last season when Burrow came back, this offense was 20th in explosive play rate. The season before, they were like 27th. They were incredibly efficient, but to Dan, to your point, they weren't able to access that under center play action game that teams use to get to their explosives. And this feels like Cincinnati saying, all right, we need to make this work. And I think what's interesting is, right, Joe Burrow took a sack, right? It was just a 2-man concept, under center play action. They ran a great stunt, whatever. There might be some growing pains. And I think for Cincinnati, Dan, what I'm interested in seeing is, will you stick with this? Because we have seen them kind of flirt with it at times and then just go back to that gun game because they know it works. Under center, it's not just like they have to sequence the run and the pass together, and it has to be an entire philosophy as an offense. It can't just be something they sprinkle in.
I agree, and it's also that tight end and tackle need reps together of how they're verbally and non-verbally going to handle a individual rusher or a stunt rusher. And the protection rules change on the fly depending on if a defense brings a blitz. I think defenses are going to blitz more this year because if offenses are going to chase explosive and efficient, we're going to try to, as a defense, create TFLs would be at least be my philosophy. So everybody needs those reps. I also think, MK, because of some of the infusion of the Vic Fangio style coverages where it's so match oriented, that's taken away some of the spread out RPO, quick throw efficiency, and also some of the yards after the catch stuff. And so this is this constant evolution of the game, but also cyclical element of the game. I agree. I'll be interested to see if some of the teams, Buffalo does it, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs do it. Will they be disciplined enough to kind of do what's best for their offense, not just what's best for the quarterback?
I mean, it's fascinating. Only Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen have actually attempted more throws in shotgun than Burrow since 2021.
Yeah.
I wonder, too, like Burrow has a lot of ownership of this whole thing. I wonder if he's patient enough to stick with it if it's not exactly what he wants it to be. All right, still to come, George Kittle trying to complete